What's the deal? What's up, gang? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Um, welcome to another lovely New York session live stream. I look like what's that guy from uh from next Friday? The guy with the dog? What's that guy's name? I'm an Aztec warrior. I'm an Aztec warrior. That's what he looked like. No locked doors. Wix, what was that yesterday? Late trade in the signal channel? Was it testing? No, it was trade. Chico. Yeah. No, Chico was the dog, no? Get him, Chico. Hundreds and fifties. Big ass titties. Count the green. Get in between those titties. Wasn't expecting that one so little after New York session. I just came back from a place and I looked at the charts and that's what was happening. I was like, all right, looks good. I don't know. I saw about what 15, 20 pips, then hit B. I was looking for a closure below here. Once we close below 3309, I'm looking for some sells. Okay, so I'm looking in about 5 minutes right now for New York Open. If we're able to close below here, I'm looking for some sells. If we don't, we might look for buys on the break of these highs. On the break of the 30 high. For hour making you cautious. It's cautioning. It's cautioning. Trying to figure out where we want the level. Do we want it up here? Do we want it down here? Things will get interesting. You had anything for Asian session? I had a break even. You can see over here 2 pips. 2 pip B. If this holds and breaks the previous candle high, I'm gonna step away at around 8:05, 8:10. Like if we're not in a position, I gotta go take one of my kids to graduation. Orange folder and 2 p.m. It has just meeting minutes, so we have really nothing in the way today in terms of news. So You missing graduation for the charts? No, I'm gonna be at graduation. It's kindergarten graduation. It's at 6, but they gotta be there earlier to kind of practice. It's kindergarten. I really wanted disclosure below as we were coming down here. Yeah, thank you guys. I changed the bit rate, so things should be a bit rating, bit rater, as I changed the bit rate. Should be bit rating better. Excellent connection is the word from YouTube. What? YouTube just wrote to me that they disabled my monetization. Shit, if that's the case, this is about to be a fucking top 40 charts stream. It's about to have every hip hop record ever made in the next hour. What you mean disabled monetization? I don't know. I don't know for what. They didn't send me a message, it's just a note. Monetization disabled. It's in my YouTube streaming studio screen. What's the reason? I don't know. What's the basis? Y'all ain't going nowhere but got suits and cases. See, it's a little difficult. What if we have it marked up like this, right? We don't. We have it marked up like this. Where's everybody? Where's Jay? Where's Eddie? Somebody gonna have to talk when I dip. Otherwise, it's gonna be all music. It's gonna be all music in about 5 minutes. Gotcha, fam. J mode activated. Green, come run the stream. Tell your other employers that you need about half hour off. Yeah, Green could fucking kick a freestyle right now. You can show up and just run this off the dome. 1 hour looks to create good to create a bottom wick, but the 15-minute broke the lows and closed bullish like a money printer. Tricky, yeah, very tricky here. It's all right. It's all right. We'll be. Some of you guys missed your stimulus check. We'll be giving out some stimmies here on stream. There'll be some stimmies given out here later on. Everybody gonna eat. Everybody gonna get a stimulus check this stream. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be a Wix 9 stimulus. Everybody gonna get stimulated. It's 8:05. I gotta run, gang. I got about 10 minutes to make it back here before this candle closes. Okay, here's the deal. If I don't make it back in time and this candle closed below here, top wick, break out of the candle low, the closure, and you guys will be in there. All right, so you guys want, oh shit, 4 people, much people, 5 people at the Zoom door. Yeah, so if I'm not here, right, if I'm taking longer, this is what I'm looking for. I might miss it. Oh, whoops, because I'll be running. Get this, right? You're looking for break of these lows for this area, and this is your stop entering. Okay, maybe a stop here. It depends on how it closes. So yeah, I'm gonna go, but this, if you guys see this, then you're looking for that. Oh man, this shit might happen right now. Damn it. Fuck school. They're gonna have to be late right now. Straight up, last week of school. Yeah, well, I know I won't be back in 8 minutes. This shit might just run here. Oh, God, my arm, man. I'm gonna have to take a shot here during. Oh, God. Ow, 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 ow. This fucking arm. She got no shame right now, hurting for no reason. I'm being hurted by the seasons, so fuck y'all, hurting for no reason. $60, it might break the low here. Just pump down. Want a closure though. Oh, God. This shit hurts. All right, gang. I don't want to take anything here in this little funky area. Like, I think the cleaner cells are below here. If we can come down there, or if we start breaking highs, closing above the most recent, and the most recent are these areas right here, 33.13. I got about 15 minutes. I'm gonna go take the kids to school. I'll be back in about 10-15 minutes. You guys want music or you guys want Jay talking? What do you guys want? Jay's like, I'm not even on there. Jay, they want you to speak. The people have spoken.
Good morning.
Yeah, just do a little Q&A. Let them,
Little Q&A about what?
I don't know,
How's everyone's
answer.
day going?
Yeah, answer their questions in the chat. I'll be back in 10 minutes, 15
Sure,
minutes. Jay got this.
sure. Can I do some music? No.
No.
Tell us
All
your life story. Sure.
right. What's your opinion on
All
women?
right. I love them. They're awesome.
See, they got this thing
But
called vagina, and
yeah,
we're all for it.
and boobies. We like the boobies too.
All right.
How's the U.S. economy looking right now? Very good, actually. Whoever is saying that it's a recession are definitely not aware of what's going on, or they're trying on purpose to make the economy look worse than it actually is. So usually those are the Democrats who are trying to tank the stocks and try to pretend to show that Trump is not doing a good job. Yes, I speak Arabic, Kalamari. Yes, this is a trading stream. What's up, Los? Looks like I've got 10 minutes here, so sure, ask me some questions. Let's see what popped up earlier. Explain what the investments now. What are the investments now? What do you mean? Like what I invest in? I invest in real estate. I've got properties in Maryland. I've got properties in Florida. And the smart thing to do in life is to hold the properties that you have long term, as long as you bought them at a low price, because you'll make more money with the rentals than anything else, while the renters are paying your mortgage if you have one. Your property value will go up over time if you purchased in an area that makes sense. So always do your research, your due diligence when you purchase properties. I also invest in stocks long term that I don't touch. I also do that for my daughter. Yeah, I mean, there's a few other things, but that gives you an idea as to what those investments are. That makes sense financially. I don't buy stupid things. I don't buy cars for no reasons. I don't buy houses to live in. I don't buy things that I don't actually need. And I live my life comfortably that way, thank God. So yeah, gives you guys an idea. What else is there? Say hi in Arabic. Sure. Ahlan. Unless your HOA is fucking your rental profits. Yeah, I mean, I know, Eddie, you spoke with a new mentor looking at investing in FHAs, or I think it was it FHA loans, loan properties? I mean, those are really good. You just have to make sure that you have still the right renters, obviously, because they still have to pay a portion, which is very minimal. But at least you have that guaranteed money from the government that's going to send you that. So the thing is, I believe that when you buy a property, you cannot resell it for a profit. So if you buy for 100K, yeah, they're under 100K in Florida. If you buy them for 100K, you can't sell it for a profit. You make your money from the actual rentals. So you just have to make sure that you have a property manager that makes sure that they handle anything that might be wrong with the property in any way, so that they don't hold out your payment or have the renters cause you problems. You also want to make sure that you speak with the FHA company, make sure that you get the right tenants and don't have, some random crackheads in there. Make sure that they are truly well qualified. So And when you do that, you can make quite a bit of money. Yeah, they're almost free. Or Section 8, Section 8 ones, yeah. So you have a lot of different people that are looking for different properties. A lot of people, unfortunately, today cannot afford to buy a property. They cannot afford one. So the prices have unfortunately skyrocketed. And so people can't afford it. So that's why the rents are so expensive. So whoever owns a property, that's why I always recommend holding that property. Don't sell it unless you'll make a massive profit of, double the money. But remember that if you do that and you sell that property, you would have to go buy another one, which can be as expensive or more expensive. So it wouldn't make sense at that point. So you'd want to hold the property, especially if it's in a good area. Make sure that you do your due diligence. If there are schools nearby, if there's a high crime rate, look at so when you go onto the government site, they'll give you an idea as to what areas you would want to live in, for example, right? So if there are schools, if you have little children, if you have a lot of children that are under a young of age, you want to make sure that there's good schools nearby, either private or public. You want to see if there's a grocery store. You want to see if there's a bus line. You want to see if really hard to get away from things of that nature. People will pay more money because of the commodity of being next door. If you're in California, you need a car, you'd have to go somewhere, really far away. If you're in Florida, it's not necessary because, you've got a lot of opportunities if you're in Orlando or in Miami or Tampa, things like that. So there's a lot of things that can help you with that. So you want to find a place that makes sense financially. You want to see if you're in Florida, if you're near a flood zone or not, what kind of insurance you need to get. The interest rates are high as fuck, yeah, because Powell is being a douche. He's not lowering them, but they will come down. That's a guarantee. They will come down. There's no doubt about that. Powell cannot hold those rates high. The economy, Dow Jones, S&P 500 have been going up tremendously. They are higher than I think they've been in the last 4 or 5 years. And whoever says that it's a recession is completely wrong. So based on that, that's why I don't see gold skyrocketing that high this year, because I think the indices will be pushing up a lot more. So I don't see it going up to 4,000 this year, unless there's another war that happens or something like that. But the amount of money that's being invested into the States, billions of dollars that are being put in by other countries, goes to show what the U.S. economy is growing towards, right? You bought in 2021, it was 3%, cost was low. Yeah, I mean, if you bought it and you have a fixed rate, then you're good. If you bought it and it's a fluctuating rate, then might make it interesting if you do that over a 5-year period, but it depends on what deal you have with the bank, obviously. Don't forget, you can refi, get a better rate, take out portion of the money if you have equity in the property and use that equity to buy other properties, right? You don't want to spend $500,000 on one property and use all of your money yourself, right? You want to use 5, 10, 20%, depending on if it's your first house or not, and then use the rest of that money and buy other properties as well. You want to leverage how much money you have to buy different properties as long as they make sense financially. If they are turnkey properties, it's ideal if it's your first time. If they're not, then and you want to renovate them, make sure you have your power team. You have your real estate agent, you have your construction people, and so on and so forth. I won't refi because it's just too high right now. Yeah, I mean, it all varies, right? Everything is negotiable anyways. Talk to your bank, talk to whoever you have, try to get to see what they're offering. And if the refi is too high, then don't do it, obviously, right? But you know that the interest rates will come down. That's a guarantee. So a lot of people right now are looking to sell because they probably can't afford it. So give them an offer, find out what their actual mortgage is, or how much their interest is, or how much they're willing to sell the property at, as if they're in bad situation, and those would be divorce or somebody died or anything like that. Try to find out what the issue is, and then from there negotiate, and then give them an offer that makes sense to both you guys, right? You have to calculate what your maximum allowable offer is based on what the comparable properties nearby are. And don't forget, in 2008, the crash happened because people were given properties for nothing. And whether they had bad credit or good credit or horrible credit or no credit, they were given properties and they couldn't afford them. So that's why the market crashed. When I bought my property.
Well, Jay, I have to
What's up,
intervene a
Kenny?
little bit.
Yeah. How
The
do you
market
know?
crashed because all those rates were adjustable. They were getting for little to nothing down, low interest on the introductory, but then when they adjusted, that's when everybody went up under.
The problem was they were given properties that were property values that were not. So they were given a credit rating towards a property that was not worth what the property was. So if the bank was telling you, listen, this property is worth this much, and it's got a credit rating, and the client has a credit rating of this much, they falsify the actual records for the actual clients in order to make them think that they had more money than they did. The problem is people live on credit, and most people don't have $500 in the bank account saved up or enough of a year's salary saved up, for example, in order to do what they want to do. So what they do is they live on a monthly basis, and they expect that on their salary that they make on their paycheck every 2 weeks will be enough to pay their car, their mortgage, their food, their insurance, and they don't have enough for anything else. So what they did is they gave properties to whoever was looking to buy them. As long as they sold them, they were making their commission, and that's all they cared about. The bank, either way, on the first 10 years of the mortgage, will make money based on the interest that they charge you. So as long as they're able to do that, they're fine. But also don't forget, if a client defaults on the property, the value of what giving them the loan towards that mortgage is the actual property itself, because at some point somebody will buy it. So if that house is worth $1 million and then they sell it for $1 million, but these guys can't pay for it, the bank will make their money one way or another, because they can still resell it for $800,000 at auction or $700,000 at auction, because they're still making money from that either way. So that's the idea.
But what I'm
Who's
saying,
left with
that particular situation, the banks were giving out loans left and right, and they were adjustable. So you could qualify for the loan for the initial payment maybe, but in a year or two when it adjusted to a higher rate, because the Fed said, oh, we're raising rates now, well then everybody who had adjustable rates went up, and now their rates are higher than they were planning on paying, and so now they're starting to go under. And so
don't forget, if the rates can go up or down, you have to be able to understand financially if you're able to afford that. When they did raise the rates, the people that were paying for that stuff did not know that this could happen, or they didn't read the fine print. And
they knew it could happen. They knew it could
happen. They
didn't
care.
They weren't prepared for it. No, they didn't care.
Well, but that's the issue.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
That's different, because
that's
you had
the
adjustable mortgage. If you had a fixed mortgage,
that's the issue.
And your mortgage, your payments was fixed, then you still kept your house because your payments stayed the same. But when they adjusted and then they adjusted again, trust me, I watched it. I was in real estate from 2003. So when it adjusted again, I saw a whole lot of people losing, nice houses, small house, big house, because they was not prepared for that adjustable rate that they had bought into. And when they started adjusting up, they couldn't afford it. And they started losing left and right.
Yeah, that's unfortunately lack of ethics from the bank.
Oh yeah, all that. But I'm just saying, initially they was giving out loans left and right, because they figured, well, you can afford this payment right here. But then when it went up 6 months, a year or two, everybody was losing out, and then the banks got bailed out, which was crazy.
Yeah, that's the biggest scam, obviously, and they got bailed out. Their CEOs got paid bonuses. That hasn't stopped, because if that happens, the entire economy will crumble, and then they can't allow that to happen.
Right, so, but they got bailed out, and the people didn't.
They did, correct, because they don't give a shit. We all know who owns the banks in the end, right? They're massively powerful.
We are nothing but a pawn to them. So they don't care. And if you don't care, then they're gonna use you. You got to use yourself and not let them use you as much as possible.
I agree 100%. Don't forget, Kenny, they always want you broke. They want to depopulate the actual world. They want to create robots to do everything for us, but then have us work as slaves for them. They don't want us to have any money. They want us to work a normal paycheck, because they need everybody to do
but that's what we're already doing.
Mundane stuff.
That's what we're already doing. That's what it's set up for.
That's why we need to get out of that matrix.
It's not gonna
That's
happen.
why we have to. Well, that's the thing. That's why a lot of people are trading, right? Working on trading,
Right.
working on making money that way, because that's going to allow them to make enough money at some point, hopefully, to be able to not have a job.
If you stepping
to
outside
say,
the matrix and doing like trading or options or just investing and real estate or some other, then then you can get ahead a little bit. But if you just going to work every day, it's gonna be rough. And it's just you just a worker bee. You just there's worker ants and there's bigger ants and then there's the queen bee. You gotta figure out where you're gonna fall in, because trust me, it's always gonna be most people are gonna be living check to check. That's just the way it's gonna be.
I agree. And that's 97% of the population. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a job. The difference is, if you work a job, don't expect to be paid what you think you're worth. Don't expect to have respect from your bosses, because they're going to make you work for whatever pay that they're going to tell you that you are worth. And if you quit, good luck finding something else, especially in the type of industry that you might be in. There's always somebody younger who just came out of school who's willing to accept something cheaper as a salary. That's unfortunately the way of the world. And if you're not able to do that, then you're stuck. I mean, we were always told when we were younger, you're about my age, Kenny, or maybe a little older, job is JOB, which was, they said it would stand for just over broke. And that is true, because most people live paycheck to paycheck to pay their bills. They don't save money. They don't have enough to save money. Inflation goes up, so prices of products go up. So your $5 in your pocket is worth $3 in the end. So you don't have enough to be able to get to where you need to get to. And then you have a family. Then unfortunately, on top of that, makes things a lot difficult. Yeah, the 30 does look ugly. Then it makes it difficult for everybody to save and do whatever they need to. And then they end up having kids a lot younger than they should. Then they can't afford to care for the family because the expenses are too high. Then you have, somebody gets ill or something like that. You have to pay a fortune to be able to do that if you don't have insurance. It just becomes very difficult. So the ideal thing is to find yourself a mentor in whatever industry that you're in. Make sure that you find the right mentor as well, and that they are doing what you want them to do, or that what you are looking for them to do. So for example, Wix is literally doing what we are doing right now at the same time, right? He doesn't just tell you do this and do that, and then tells you, okay, now give me 10K, right? He actually is leading by example. So whether you're doing that, because I did that when I was a mentor, when I was in real estate. I started about 2003, like you did, Kenny, 2002. And worked on a lot of different things. Bought my first 2 properties in 2005. And then I was able to, from there, buy more and more properties. The property I bought in 2010, I bought dirt cheap, the one in Tampa Bay. And it's on the water, right? And I bought it for 300K.
That's because of 2008.
Correct. And I took advantage of that. But that's why you have to remember.
But that's my point, though. There's a game to be played. And if you don't,
when there's a crash, that's when people make money.
In life, there's a game to be played. And if you don't have the education or a mentor to navigate you through the waters, you're going to fall like everybody else. That's what the system is set up for. So unless you have a mentor or you willing to step outside and do something different than your average person, you're going to end up like the average people. That's just the way it's set up.
And it doesn't have to be that way, right? Unfortunately, people, okay, we'll go to school, we'll listen to what their teachers will tell them, they'll follow the education system, and that education system will tell them, do what I tell you to do, and go do yourself a job, and that's it. It doesn't train them to usually start a business.
It's not supposed to.
Well, that's the thing. And that's why I think the education system after high school is pretty much a scam, unless you want to become a doctor, but then you're in the matrix at that point. Because I started to become a doctor, I did pre-med. And then I was like, damn, man, I got to work 10 years, specialize myself to become a cardiologist and make absolutely no money, be in debt of $500,000 or more, and then have to wait until I pay that back. But the banks were like, oh, it's okay. If you're studying in that, no worries, bro. We're going to give you loans because we know you can pay them back at some point. So that was unfortunately the issue. They want you to work as a slave And they don't want people to make their own money when they're young. They want you to go and be broke and work paycheck to paycheck. And that's why people that think differently, think like us, are attacked, right? They're like, no, you're going against this. Back in the day, education was different, right? Today, they've completely changed that. It doesn't make sense. It's not the same as it used to be. And that's unfortunately the issue. Starting a business might not be easy also, right? You've got the employees, you've got your taxes, you've got a lot of different things that you got to handle. So you have to understand what you're going to be going into. You have to realize what makes sense to you financially, what you're able to afford, and then go from there. It's usually better to do that when you're younger, when you don't have a family, when you don't have kids, because then it's less of a responsibility. If something happens, it's on you, and not the fact that your family can't eat one day or the next. I started this when I was 22, 23. I'm 45 now, right? I worked my butt off. I've made money, I've lost money. But if you have money, make sure that you save it. Make sure that you put it towards something that makes sense. When there's a crash, that's when you make the most money, because then you'll buy things worth pennies on the dollar. I bought the property for 300K in 2010, sold it for nearly $1 million last year, but I didn't make my money from that. I made my money from the rental. It was $6,000 a month I was renting the property out. You think that covered everything that I needed it to cover? Of course. I made money on that, 10 times more than when I sold the property. So that's where you make your money. You have to be smart about it. And a lot of people don't have enough to do that. So if they want to go get a mortgage, the rates are high, agreed. Look at a property, look at something that might be run down, look at getting a power team, look at getting, your real estate agent, your construction company, your general contractor. Look at all of these things, find them, put them together, and then start looking at properties that you might want to buy. Look at investors that want to buy a property from you. How do you do that? Well, if you find a property that financially makes sense, if an investor were to invest, let's say 100K in it and would buy for 200K and he could sell it for $500,000, look at that property as a possible investment and pass it on to them and give them a contract for that. You can look at different ways of doing that. That would be called bird dogging. You can look at different ways. I mean, you know all that, Kenny, as well. That's how we would start back in the day, because my parents weren't giving me money to buy properties and things like that. So you got to find something that makes sense financially for you as well. If you tell yourself you're good with what you have, then that's great. There's nothing wrong with it. But obviously make sure that you save enough money so if anything happens for a rainy day. That's why a lot of people do trading. I do trading not to make money and be financially independent. I do trading to grab that money that I make from there and use that money into something else. Whether I invest in the real estate or either invest in stocks. When I invest in stocks, I will invest in something that will bring me back money. And that would be in a company that will pay you dividends. So you want to look at dividend aristocrats and dividend kings. You want to look at REITs as well, real estate investment trusts, because they'll pay you monthly, because those companies own hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of properties that are rentals. These people pay their rents. And as soon as they pay their rent, the company that owns that has the REITs that you own stocks from will pay you on a monthly basis a dividend. Depending on how much money you put in there, you will get a return. The idea, obviously, is whatever you're going to invest into a company that has dividends is to reinvest those dividends, because the money that you make is not from simple interest, it's from compounded interest. That's how you grow your money. But if you want money to make ends meet here and there, then you just got to make more money each month. You just got to find a way, get another job or whatever it is. Until you're making 100K or 80K a year, it's a very tough life that you're going to have for a long time. So you need to work on that and grow from there. That's the best thing. And when you do that, then you can buy your properties or buy whatever it is. People say, oh, you got lucky. You got lucky back in the day. You bought property for less and so on and so forth. Yeah, but the value of the money wasn't as high either back then, So if I'm able to afford a property for $1 million today, I would never do that anyways. I would never buy a property for $1 million and spend that $1 million. The rich people don't usually do that. They find a way to leverage their money to buy multiple properties. So if I have enough to buy $1 million property, I will buy 10 properties of 100,000, for example, right? As long as the money that I'll be making from the rentals is positive cash flow, then the value of the property should go up over time if I purchased in the right area. And that's what's important. Then you can leverage the equity from that property, refi when the interest rates are low or high, doesn't matter, refi, and then either buy other properties or renovate the property and then sell it. That is what the idea is. So that's how you can make a lot of money. Yeah, exactly, Eddie, you're right. Most people will sell courses and just not even teach you anything after that, and they'll just serve courses and they'll make a fortune from that. They might do it themselves here and there, but they're not teaching you. My mentor was going with me in the car, looking at each house, and he goes, look at this house, look at that house. Look, there's a sign right there for sale, or you can see that the property is disheveled. So you want to find out why this is happening. Is there an issue with that property? Is it abandoned? Whatever it is. Then I started getting into tax liens, and I started looking at that as well as a possible way to make money. A lot of people who couldn't afford their mortgage or their property taxes, if you can't afford your mortgage, you're definitely defaulting on your property taxes. And then the government seizes that property. In order to get their money back, they have an auction for the tax lien. And what they'll do is they'll sell that tax lien, whoever's willing to pay it, and then pay them a percentage on the interest per state that you're in. I think the highest at 25% or 12.5% on 6 months in Texas. And I think the lowest is maybe 5% in Maryland or 6% in Maryland, something like that.
Might be higher than that.
Where?
Illinois.
Illinois? Oh, I didn't know Illinois was higher than 25%, but annually.
Right around there, or right around there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look into tax liens, a lot of people don't understand and don't know this. If this is a hidden secret, so I'll give you guys a little bit of sauce, secret sauce here, while the market is just choppy. So when someone buys a property, and let's say they buy a property for 100,000, and they've paid their mortgage over time and so on and so forth, and let's say they have 40,000 left on their property, but then at some point something happens and they default. Over time, the bank will say, okay, listen, you need to pay us back. It's not working. By that time, when your yearly taxes are due, people can't usually afford it, and then they default. Once they default, if they cannot pay the tax lien, the government will go to auction and then sell those. Most of the time, those are done to big corporations, right? They'll buy hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of properties at the same time in a massive bundle. But when it comes to the tax lien itself, it's something a little different. What happens is, what happens is there's a lien on the property, and the government, all they care about is getting their money for the taxes. That's all they care about. They don't care what happens to the property. They don't care what happens to who owns it, whatever it is. So as long as somebody pays that tax lien, they're good. So if you default on that, somebody else can go and pay that tax lien, and then you will owe them the amount of that tax lien plus the interest of the state that you're in. And then you have a certain time period to pay that off. Now, if you don't pay it off, then you can lose your actual property. So a lot of people have lost their properties on that aspect. And what they don't realize is that if they own the property, they had the mortgage on it, and they own the property, and they lost their property based on tax liens. What they don't understand is that if there was equity in the property, by law, it belongs to them. But they don't know that. They think they lost everything because they lost money on the property and so on and so forth. But there's 60,000 equity in that property. By a law, did I say 40%? Whatever it is. Whatever they had paid is the equity left in the property. This is what actually they are owed. So what governments will not tell you is that each state has a certain law, and the law is based on 1 month, I think, to 5 years, that if nobody claims that money that is due on that property, the government then seizes those funds and then holds them and keeps them for themselves. So if you're able to help a person that defaulted on their property, on their taxes, sorry about the baby crying, they just came back. But if that person that has defaulted on their property and on their taxes don't know that they still have equity in that property, you can help them recuperate that. It's a long and tedious process, but you can find a mentor to teach you how to understand how to go and get tax liens, right? And that person will recoup their 60,000 that they put in there or whatever it is, and then you can charge them 30% or something like that for a fee to help them, go through all that. They would have to go through lawyers and everything. But most people have no idea that this is a real thing. They think that when they lose their property, it's over, but that's not true. So look into tax liens, look into properties, look into things of that nature that'll help you build your net worth. That's what you want to do, right? You want to build your net worth. You want to start somewhere that makes sense. And if you're going to buy your first property, I recommend that you buy it. Don't buy a disheveled property. It's going to be very, very difficult for you guys to fix everything and handle all that on your own when it's the first time, because it's too much to navigate. So I recommend you buy a turnkey property the first time, and then make sure that you can rent it out right away. And if you do that and you do buy a property, buy something that you can afford, something smaller. If it is a single family home, go for it. But I don't recommend that you buy single family homes, because if the renter leaves, you are screwed. Nobody can back that up for you. Your first unit is under 130K or 130K. Yeah. Do something that you can afford. So I recommend you buy either a duplex, triplex, fourplex, and so on and so forth, because if one of the renters leaves or something happens, the others are still covering your mortgage. Make sure you run the numbers. Make sure you understand that you have a 30% vacancy per year as a possibility. Make sure you understand all the costs associated with running the building, with the manager of the building, and so on and so forth. All of these things, we have so many things that are free online today. And yeah, a lot can happen, fire or whatever it is. Just make sure that you do your research and then find a mentor to show you what they're doing, and then follow that the same way as you're doing it right now with Wix, right? And some of you guys were with other people before that. For me, I don't care if the person is older or younger than me. If they're showing me what they're doing, it's working, then I'm going to learn from them and I'm going to try to understand it. That's why I'm still here, right? That's why I renew the signals. That's why I keep going. And that's why Kenny's here, Dr. Holmes is here, Reg is here, and so on and so forth. We're all still here, Y'all see the same names. We're all mods. Eddie, Sam, we're sticking around. Bougie Options and Nate. We're here for a reason. We're learning. We're all helping each other out in Discord, and that helps tremendously. So if you have that team that works with you, that you can work with to find those properties or to know what to invest in, then go ahead and do that. But don't tell yourself, oh, everybody's buying Bitcoin, let me go ahead and buy. That's not the right way of thinking, like in trading, right? We're looking at price action when we're trading. It doesn't mean that if it goes up, it's always going to go up. And you got to make sure that you mitigate your risks. So based on that, yeah, top tier in the clubhouse, absolutely. We don't follow the crowd. You're absolutely right. We help each other grow. I don't make money if Nate makes money. I don't make money if Wix makes money, and he doesn't make money if I make money, right? So we help each other out because we're a team working together. If I have a power team looking to buy properties and looking to help me renovate, they don't make money if I don't make money, because they only get paid if I give them the job, or on commission if they sell a property or they buy the property or whatever it is. It's the same idea. So you want to make sure that you have the right people around you. And mentorship, I think, is the best thing. You just have to make sure you find the right mentor. Study them. Make sure that you see the proof that they are doing what they're doing, that they they put their money where their mouth is, that they preach what they say. Steve, you're right. And risky but high reward. I mean, this is part of life. You have to make calculated risk, like in the trading that we do. And when you understand the strategy that you have to find, then you can understand the next steps that you have to take. So you have to have a plan, a 1 month plan, a 6 month plan, a 1 year plan, 5 year, 10 year, and so on and so forth. I didn't get to where I got to because I got lucky, right? I worked my butt off and it wasn't given to me. And people say, oh, you got lucky and you got this and you got that. And I said, yeah, but well, I worked my butt off. I lost a lot of money, made a lot of mistakes. And that's what's going to help me teach my children later on how to invest, how to do what they need to do, and not be stuck in the same issues that I had, and be able to overcome the hurdles that I've had to overcome. And then step by step, you go there. I don't know how old most people are in the chat, but it's never too late to start. So, we help each other out in different ways here. And at least hopefully a little bit of what I said helps you guys have a better understanding. Wick said it many times. He owns 3 properties. I think he sold one. He owns 2 or 3 properties, and they're all being rented out. And where he lives, he does the same way as I do. Where he lives, he doesn't buy, he rents. But the money that he makes from his rentals covers the rental that he has and more. But the properties are the mortgages, if he has any, they're being paid off by the people that are renting it. And his equity in the house grows, and the value of the property might grow as well. So it's all a win-win-win, and that's the idea. So don't look at yourself once you make a little bit of money. Oh, now I can buy a car. Oh, now I can take a trip. Oh, now I can buy a motorcycle or whatever it is. Don't think like a brokey. Say, oh, perfect. Now I can save that money, and then once I have enough 50K or 100K, then I'll know how to be able to better invest it. I'll put a down payment towards a property, buy 100,000 property or 120,000 property, put 20% down, 10% down, 5% down, whatever it is. I'll live in it as an FHA loan for a year or 2 years and be able to barely pay anything and be able to then, once I get out, be able to resell it or renovate it during that time. Look at what needs to be done and then sacrifice. That's the key thing that you have to do, is not want everything right now. And everybody's saying, oh, Wix, you're so lucky. You've got $1 million or whatever it is. Bro, he worked his butt off. Look at where he's at. It took him, 7 years of trading, losing hundreds of thousands when he started, and same happened with me. So take advantage, learn from people that are doing it right now, and pay for the mentorship, because then you will get the real sauce. But make sure that you're paying the right people, make sure that you're finding the right mentors, make sure that you don't just go with the hype. Nah, I don't want money from people. I'm good. Patreon. And then once you do that, then you can grow from there. When it comes to investments, in stocks or in properties or whatever it is, we don't have the information ahead of time because we don't work for the government. So you just got to understand what companies are valuable, what companies are not. You have to look at past history the same way that we look at past history in trading. We look at the historical data of the candles that we've had and what occurred at the time in order to try to get a better understanding as to the forecast for the future of the next 4-hour candle or hour candle or half an hour, so on and so forth. And then from there, based on the historical data, you'll know how to better invest into a property, into a stock. So what I told you guys earlier was dividend kings, dividend aristocrats. Those are companies that have been paying dividends for 25 years or 50 years consecutively, or at least that, without fail. Whether the economy has gone bad or the economy has gone well, they've always paid it. And those are great ways of getting your money to grow, because they pay you a dividend. The dividend is an extra bonus on top of the investment that you have. So don't look at the companies in their 1-year forecast. Look at the 10-year forecast. Look at what they've done in the past. Companies like 3M and Pepsi and Coca-Cola, all those companies are out there. They're not going anywhere. And so you can grow your money that way as well. But make sure first you make at least 100,000 a year so that you can start saving. Don't blow your money on bullshit. Don't buy stupid things like, cars that are unaffordable at $1,000 a month. It's absolutely insane. They're worth more than a mortgage. Get yourself a cheap car, 3, 4, 5,000 if you really needed to drive around, do all that. And then from there, save your money. Do what you have to do to save whatever you can. And once you've saved enough money, then you can start looking at different ways of succeeding. And then find the mentor, like I said. And that's why I'm still here. I mean, I learn every day from Wix, every single day. I learn from Nate, I learn from Sam, I learn from everybody. We talk to each other in the Discord, we in the chat as well. When we're trading Asian, when I'm there sometimes, we're like, hey, I got in here. Oh, you looked at that, I looked at, oh yeah, it's true, I missed that, and so on and so forth. We always help each other. And having that is beyond comforting, knowing that we're all together towards the same goal, and that's making money, so we can get out of this matrix, make our money to be financially free. That way, I never have to go and get a job. I never have to do that ever again. I work for myself 2-3 hours a day, go to the beach, relax, take care of the family, and chill. That's what life is supposed to be. We're not meant to work 80 to 100 hours a week for a few peanuts.
Jay, you just got lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. That's and you're absolutely right, Kenny. I just got lucky.
You got lucky, that's all. No, I will say you did get lucky with finding the right mentor. Yeah.
Well, I did have a few bad mentors before. Yeah, I did have a few bad mentors before.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, you think that they're the right people, but then you learn how those mistakes occur. And thank God I didn't spend too much money. And I mean, bro, it's so important to find the right person because they can lead you to ruin. So you just got to make sure that you don't just go on Instagram and then follow whatever random person say, oh, look at this, look at that, and then fake everything, and they're showing you all their wins on a fake account or whatever it might be. I mean, this is done live right here in front of you guys with Wix, right? You want to make sure that whoever you're going to find as a mentor actually helps you go to each property, each neighborhood, and be able to understand. Look at this, look at that. This is a good area, or have a, a lot of companies will have a software today where they'll find the right properties that make sense for you, for financially for you, right? No, I don't do a face reveal. Sorry. And you got to understand what will make sense. You got to look at your comps. You got to look at when were the properties last sold. You got to look at how long the property has been on the market for. You got to look at if it's really worth it financially. You got to look, of course, at interest rates as well. Knowing that the interest rates are going to come down this year is going to make a massive boom. So right now, there are more people that are looking to sell properties than people that are buying. So they're willing to negotiate more. Maybe you can use that to your advantage and then take it from there. Whether the interest rate is high or not, look at something that's flexible and see if it's worth it right now. And if you're looking at buying a property to renovate it, find some investors. Look at people who are willing to invest. Give them a business plan. Create one. Now with AI, it's a lot easier to, set all that stuff up. Create yourself a business plan. Look at what property you're looking to buy, how much you're looking to renovate it for, the bids that you would get from 2 or 3 companies. And don't forget, when you buy a property, you've got the taxes, you've got the closing costs, you've got a lot of things that you have to think about that people don't think about. So yeah, the 4 hours closing. I think Wix is back. Yep, he's back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
For giving me some time to fucking lay down, put my arm down. My arm is killing me. But yeah, we have an hourly closure coming up here. The 4 hour on spot is closing. Not here for us, not on futures just yet. But we're still stuck in this range, right? We're still got this top wick, bottom wick. We're nothing but wicks in here. Nothing but wicks on the mic. So let's get out of this nonsense. And look at it. If we're thinking in terms of timing, this might be good. Remember yesterday, 9:30, we pushed. So maybe we get some kind of closure outside the range in the next 15, right? 9 o'clock candle hits. We get a 15 push. We get another 15 to hold, and then we re-break it. Whether it's bullish or bearish, it would make sense, right? If we close up on the next candle above here. And if we're able to kind of hold this area, right? This would be 9:30 coming up here and breaking highs. And at 9:30 NYC open with volume, if we start breaking those highs, right, we're going to look to really push through the range. Possibility you might get a closure outside the range because we've ranged pretty heavy through this area. A lot of times your first initial break outside the range is just an order grab, right? Markets grabbing orders to go back the other way. So you might get this, right? And then closure right back in range, at which point I'll probably still wait for the 9:30 candle, 9:30 to 9:45, that 15-minute candle to really play out, and maybe it'll be a 9:45 trade, because either we'll get a breakdown, which I don't mind after breaking the highs here, coming back out, coming back down and re-breaking the lows, getting a closure. I would not mind that. But if we close below and then we decide to do this again, I wouldn't mind taking buys on the very next candle, 9:45, take us up. Right. So It's gonna have to fall in our lap, right? It's gonna have to fall in our lap. And if we just break out of the range and drive, excuse me, if we drive, and it's in any direction, right, up or down, because we can invert that, we'll look for a pullback and to form a support or resistance, depending on which way the drive goes. You want a closure holding, or is a wick rejecting and flipping from there? Fine. It'll be fine. It all depend on the time. If it's 9:30, if it's like 9:12, right, or if it's like 9:50, like a lot of this will depend on the timing when it's happening. At 9:30, and we're breaking any kind of highs and lows of a closure outside the range, right? At 9:30, yeah, I'm gonna expect it to fill the next range. It's happening at 9:15. I'm gonna expect a hold and the 9:30 volume to eventually take it there. Maybe 9:25. Okay. We start breaking highs close to 9:30, or breaking lows, either or. But it's not here right now, right? The hourly just closed. We're in this range. Like the break of this hourly looks great usually, but we're in this. We have the most recent level here that I don't want to bounce off and just come down here. So, closure it is. Muy importante. Yeah, if it starts pushing up heavy, I'm gonna wait for it to pull back to this area. If it breaks down, we'll see it break down and we'll react to that. Hey, when I fill up the needle, who I feel like this is a bad place to ask. I gotta do the therapy. I gotta give myself a shot in the stomach. So when you fill up the needle, for everyone that had to do their own shots before, how do I make sure that I don't lose any, right? Because you can't have any air, so you gotta pull it up, right? And what do? I flip it down to squeeze it, but then if I squeeze it up to get all the air out, wouldn't some of it come out and then I'm losing?
I can call my uncle. He on heroin.
No. Word. Phone a friend. Make sure the spoon is bent. Nah, these guys are crazy. They're like, Wix, you need baking soda? You need a lighter? No! How'd that Cat Williams shit go? He's like, I don't know the recipe. I'm just saying. Wait until you see the droplet on the needle and then all the air's out. Yeah, but that droplet, right? I'm losing it. I don't want to lose the droplet. This shit is a small vial. It's supposed to last me a month.
You just lick that part. It's all the same.
That's why you can't ask. convicted felons and people from Detroit. I'm gonna YouTube it. How to properly fill a needle. Wow, what a top wick there, huh? Problem is, oh, if that hourly closure was below there, this would have been lovely. Ex-felons? There's no such thing as an ex-felon. Like, once a felon, always a felon. Just like a Marine, right? You're never like an ex-Marine. You're always a Marine. That shit, bro, yeah, that shit's, bro. Yeah, that shit's, you carry that shit around forever like luggage, bro. Sticks to you like Velcro. You never get rid of that. For some reason, I feel offended by that. Once a felon, always a felon. Hey, man. We're a new race. We will prevail. I think you're supposed to overfill it first, then hold it over the vial, then push until you're at the proper CC. Yeah, but the thing is, I seen him pushing it up, right? So the air comes out when he was doing it, but I didn't think to ask. Putting a ticket on Wicks on the next Kentucky Derby. Do felons count on unemployment claims? Not unless they're chronically unemployed. That's a good point, Muggs. That's very true. What you will waste is minimal. Just do it slow. Yo, how much are stops here on the break of the lows? Because we're definitely not going to take that. Ain't going to happen. A felony isn't always a felony. You can be president. Hey, I have nothing wrong with that. I got no problem with you being a felon, bro. You don't have to give me excuses. Hey, stop. Benny. Stop doing that shit. Start eating only alkaline foods for the shoulder. What a time to be alive. I would say stop picking up. Yo, he's such a funny dude. This morning, I woke up and his back two paws were on the floor, and his front two paws were like this on me. He just put them all over me, and he was just literally, I opened my eyes, and he's just laying down half body on top of me like this. I still got his paw marks right here. I got a paw mark right. Nah, he does that because I don't let him up on the bed. So he does that. He puts his paw up there, and then he puts his other paw, and then he's just like this. Is it worth creating a business to avoid paying taxes? You're not going to avoid paying taxes. You're going to pay taxes. You might save on taxes if your accountant or money manager knows how to structure your business properly.
And you get a lot of write-offs having a business if you know how to structure things properly.
You get write-offs, so
you're going to pay taxes. You're in America, you're paying taxes.
You know how it works for me? Like, for me, at the end of the year, it's like, the guy's like, look, you got to spend this much. He's like, I don't care what you do, you need to go spend some more money. At the end of the year, that's what it's going to be. He's like, I'm going to need you to go, like, buy something. So your taxes make sense.
There are a lot of ways also to minimize the amount of tax that you pay. The way the rich do it is get yourself a trust and then leverage your assets and get loans from those in order to not pay taxes on capital gains or on income that comes in. There's a lot of different ways of doing that, and I'm sure a lot of people know who the Rockefellers are. They created something called the Rockefeller waterfall method. So look into that, and then look at how you can benefit from.
Look, your ass needs money first, gang.
Sure.
First,
you got to make at least 100K.
You got to have money.
Yeah, 100%. Otherwise, it won't work. But yeah, you can get yourself a trust, maybe in Cyprus, something like that, and then go from there. If you actually have money, if you don't have at least $500,000, then it's not worth it. But save your 100 grand and then start from there, and then build yourself.
So the 15 here closed with no bottom wick. It is 9:15. Maybe this 15 creates this bottom wick. We can form maybe a weak bullish 15 candle, right? Flip bullish, but still have this bottom wick. But still close respecting 3307, and then very similar to yesterday, as the next candle starts breaking the lows here, we can look for positions. Right, so we probably want to see this candle close something like this. We see that, and the next candle does this. This is entry. This is TP. This is clean range, and it would be 9:30 on this candle, NYSE open. Capiche?
Remember it. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a fuck.
Let's see what happens. Because we did just break that low. It's just all in one candle. This is previous candle closing, no bottom wick, definitely no positions, but even on the break it out low, it's 112 pip stop. Stops would be previous 15, current 30, depending on which one tops out higher on the next candle. We got to close like this, like we are right now. It's 12 minutes here. We were already doing this, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it does. All right. I gotta pee. I'll be right back. Give me a sec. All right. Looking good here. Looking good. Yes. Trading live and funded. That's right. All right. Like we said, any closure below this level, we're going to have sell stops here on the break of the slow. So if we start breaking that support at 9:30 NYSE open with volume, I'd expect us to continue down to finish out the range. Closes above, that would be a fake out back into range here at 9:30. You're probably going to end up filling the top of that range immediately, and then the rest will be questionable. What are stops here? 67. Benny, come on, close the door, man. I do this shit every time. Getting sick and tired of you not having opposable thumbs, bro. Oh, I can't speak. I don't have a shoulder right now. Oh, shit. Two minutes here. I haven't put it up on the live yet, so you don't see it in the signals. So I'm just waiting for this to close. Once it does, I'll put it up. Using 15, it depends on what the next candle does. Close below. Remember we said for 9:30 above or below, and then the next candle closing respecting. So bullish or bearish, but respecting the level. We got a minute here. As long as we respect this most recent level. So if we break this high and then come down, it'll be whatever we establish on that current candle, whatever the high is. If we don't break this high and come down here, it'll be the previous 15. Stop.
Wix, I think we have a few people at the Zoom door. Thanks.
No, I'm looking. Oh, wow. Is this going to go now? I'm going to set a sell stop on the break of the current candle low here. Sorry, not current, previous. So NYC open. Might make a steeper top wick, but man. It broke. Did break. So I'm in here on the live account too. I think we should have waited for the top wick first and then the rebreak of the lows. Because it can break this high and still come back down. Yeah. Maybe waiting for the top wick first and then the rebreak. Come on, rebreak it so I can be at peace. Yeah, it barely tipped my because I had my entry about a half a pip or a pip lower than the one on here, and it barely tipped me right there with the tip of the wick. God, that's annoying. Yeah, technically we should have a sell stop right now on the break of the lows. And I don't have a stop on the break of the highs here. I'm gonna wait for that closure. Because I think it might tap that stop and then come back. Maybe above here. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of upset with myself. Should have waited for that bottom wick first, but with volume, NYC open. Should have had sell stops here now on the break of the lows once it does that. Pineapple, I would have to maybe right. Yeah, would have had to tap up here. So I'm managing 3 terminals right now, so bear with me. But we break the lows, we should be well. There we go. Now I don't feel bad. We would have been in here. Now I don't feel bad. Okay, previous candle. Yeah, we would have been in here. Now it did exactly what we wanted to. Now I don't feel bad. Yeah, lesson learned. Make that bottom work first. Now it did everything we wanted to, and it's still pushed back up. NYC open, expecting that volume to bring it down. I know I see a level here, but we've tapped these highs. We would have been in here on that break at a low. The 15 range is steeper. Actually, overall, the range is steeper. But now that we flipped and broke that low, I have to keep the previous candle high stop. Regardless how you spin it, I think I still would have been in there the same way. Let's see where the stop is going to go. Yeah, it's gonna be the previous high. And there's a chance it comes down, but it's gotta be the previous high. After that top wick. I got no pineapple here because this is the second time it's retesting. On the initial high, I think it would have made sense. Whoever said pineapple up there, that probably made sense. Shit, would have made sense again. It didn't re-break the lows. It re-broke my entry. By a pip. Yeah, this is tough. NYC open. Made a top wick, re-broke the low here for reflip bearish. I'm expecting that drive down. It's tough. Yeah, looking like a re-break at a high. On my personal, I have it up here. That's where I have stops. But the way the volume's pumping right now and it's NYC open. Which is that? Yeah. I think I'm going to leave it at previous candle. I see it pumping, but I think I'm going to leave it at previous candle. It just doesn't make sense. NYC open, if it breaks highs, it'll pump up heavy. Well, I figure it would. Let's see. Getting close to the highs here. I took a pineapple up here just now on my live account. I'm going to close right there. I just closed on my live. It doesn't make sense for me to kind of hold that. A lot of risk. I closed minus. I'll tell you right now. I closed minus 7 pips on my live account. Took a pineapple up here, and I just can't take a pineapple because this is funded and I'm going to be too much risk in it. So on my live account, I closed at minus 7 pips. I believe we should have ran here when we rebroke the lows. So if we re-break the lows, I might put a sell stop, but on this account, I cannot take a pineapple because there's just, I don't have, I'm at 5 lots here already. So this one I gotta wait. No, I closed -7. I took a pineapple up here, but I just don't like the fact that we've rebroke the low twice. Or we broke the low and then we made a top wick, rebroke the low, and then came back up. Any kind of push up will drive this up. So that kind of scared me a bit. First, second try, fine. But a third time, eh. On this one, I just can't, I'm not going to manage this one until it either breaks down to here or yeah, I'm not going to re-enter this on my live. I had 12 lots running on the live. All right, there we go. Stops to break even here. So the signals are out. The funded here is running and it's at break even.
Yeah, I wrote earlier, indices are just pumping and pumping, so gold should drop.
Yeah, I'm going to extend this, see if it can push.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, nice.
I think I should have re-entered as we rebroke the lows on the live. But man, why did it break the lows, come back up, and then re-break the lows and come back up? It's just, it sucks. Let's see if we can push through. Or do we come back? Have I withdrawn money from them? No, but I have accounts that are in withdrawal. These are accounts that are not eligible for withdrawal yet. And I have some that are. It's just going to be one big withdrawal. I'm kind of annoyed that this didn't run immediately at 9:30. What the fuck was it waiting for, yo? There we go. Come on, break down. Came up here, retested these areas already. Do it. Do it. Do you not think the price acted that way because we had a 30-minute level? We just smashed right through it. Why didn't we do it initially? Yeah, the 30-minute level, but look at this freaking wick. Remember, I think I said it yesterday, it's going to have to be filled. Or maybe that was Asian session. I don't remember. When was this? Oh, that was London. This wick I was saying is going to have to be filled down here. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, this was Asian. Right there. Maybe we come down and fill it now. But I expected that drive to be heavy the first time. So when I took the pineapple here, if the market let me manage risk on my live account, that's what I did. All right, let's close out here. Yeah, it's 2,000 for that trade here. So the funded made 2 grand, and the signals were minus 7 pips.
So how are you going to count that on the stream record? By
I
the
was
way,
just
going
about to
forward?
say, do we call this a break even or do we call this a W?
Well, -7 is a B for sure, but I don't know if it's a win because you use the live, you use the funded account on screen. I think we only calculate the live, right? I think that's what we've always calculated. I think we should just stick with the live and put it as a B.
Oh yeah, no, whatever's done on my live account. This is a good fucking trade. Why didn't it fucking run immediately?
It was still beautiful. You made more money because of the the pineapple.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was on your live account. Did
No,
you take
my
a
live-
pineapple on the funded?
No, not on here because I already opened up
Ah.
5 lots. I five lotted this.
Yeah, I had 5 lots and I took another 5 on my pineapple and I let those run.
No, I had on the funded I had 6 lots and then I took another 6 lots on the pineapple. And I clicked to close it out when it was break even. It's just because it was pumping. It closed it out at around -7.
Yeah, I see it here.
But yeah, when I clicked
good.
it was very low. Yeah. Oh well. Oh well. I mean, W, we made money. It's just pissed the live account didn't run immediately. Alright, I think we might have more positions here. Oh no, that closed respecting. There's a good closure down here too. Look at that, we closed right at the tip here for this one. No, I think that's gonna that was a W on the funded here, but it was a break even on the it was -7 on the, so we'll count that as a B. That's B number 135. It's still a W. It's still a W. We still made money today. Still a green day. But man, that's annoying. I think we'll have more positions. Yeah, it broke this low and then straight up, and it came down again on the same candle and broke up. Yeah, I changed the bit rate. I changed the bit rate, so it should be fine. There should be no delay. Yeah, it didn't feel like a clean W. I'm just annoyed. Didn't run immediately. Did not expect to pull back up, right? And the most logical stop is the hourly, but 115 pips can't do that. What I was afraid of was the 15 was going to break this high and still plummet down. That's why I moved the stop up to here. Up to that 1 hour high. Nice bottom wick. Can we hold the support here? This can get interesting too. Wicks we grab 500th win on stream. I counted that as a, I put it down as a BE. It was -7 in the signals on the live account, and we've been going by the live account, so anything 10 pips within 10 pips goes BE. Yeah, it's still a good win. It's 2 grand. That's 6K. My live account, that was a $700 loss, but over here it's a couple of accounts 2,000. So like 4 times what I lost. Can I can still trade this, right? At 2,000? I could still trade this.
So technically you can, but you're way above the maximum daily. So you're just gonna have to make more money overall to compensate for that.
Say it ain't
So that's the thing. Yeah, because it's you're still at the original account at 2%, and then they changed it to 5% for new ones, and now it's 6%. So even if it's at 6% and you're at 150K, that's 9,000. So that's 1,800 max per day. So if you're over that, you're gonna have to compensate. So you're making way too much money. And you're gonna have to make more.
I'm over that. I have a couple of trades at like 3 grand.
Yeah, no, that's so you're gonna have to compensate for that overall and make more money over days and not in a one-time period to be with the be good with the consistency level. So
Yeah, I already know it. I'm gonna get hit with the consistency rule.
100% you won't be able to withdraw, but you can make more money over a few days. So just lower your lot size, compensate, and then check how much your total amount is. Check your biggest day's profit. What was it? And then from there, you'll know how much you need to make more. And then once you do that, then you should be fine. But check with the chat just in case with their support staff.
Yeah, when I'm just gonna be taking withdrawal, I'll tell them. This is interesting. We are holding support. Do we do the same thing as we did before? Got 5 minutes here.
Yeah, there's not much going on for me here. I'm gonna call it early.
Calling it.
Going to have lunch. I made the max daily profits. So thank you, Wix, for an amazing trade. Thank you, everybody. See you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, there's another win in the win column
Oh yeah,
today. If not,
you guys got a stimmy check today, by the way.
a what?
Congrats. A stimulus check. Everybody got a stimmy check from the stream. That was the Wix 9 stimulus.
Seriously, we were so close. If you hadn't closed the position on the live, you'd have your 500 win, man. So close. It's
Yeah.
all right. It wasn't meant to. Next time.
No, I think we might have some positions here soon too. But the problem is with this closed. It closed bear, closed at support, but it ended up flipping bearish here, which I don't like. If we closed bullish, maybe we'd be looking at the break at this high. So
I was thinking of taking buys at 32.95, but it was just too late, and it just pushed all. I was like, all right, not that.
I mean, this has a good chance to come back up here to these areas, 33.12 areas. It's just we need some bullish closures.
I'm gonna be still in signals. Still checking on those as usual because those are priceless. Even though they're really cheap. So I'm gonna still be doing that, but I'm gonna be heading off the stream for today. Thank you. Take care, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you for covering. Appreciate you. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Later now. Looks good on the 15. It looks really tough here on the 30 and the hourly. Need a closure. Need a bullish closure before looking for buys. If the 15 and the 30 closed bullish here, would have been interesting. But the way we've moved down so heavy, this could end that bearish closure at the very end. I think it can definitely come back down here. It was a coupon for signals. Word, use your stimulus check on the signals. Signals got the short end of the stick today. Stops are really massive here. High makes sense to 33.12, but I would like this to pull back. Personally. Might not. Personally, I like it to pull back. Oh, God. If we could get the closure like this in the next candle bottom wick, be great. I feel like any break of this high is gonna push. Don't want to use that as stop. I want another candle to come down and give me a better stop. Be crazy if this comes down, re-breaks that low. Good, interesting. How you doing? How are you? Good. Okay. I have a feeling this is gonna push down. Come on down. What about sell? No, it's too soon for sells. It's too soon for buys also. It's just it hasn't set up yet. Just kind of wicked up and down. Oh, it tried to come down. Right back up. Yeah, I want it to come down, but reflip bullish here. Not a good trade day. I mean, we did pretty well here today. Right there. It's holding. Wow, that 15 close respecting. This is tough. Held it, right? No coming up. No clear direction here. I believe it will come up from after holding all this time and after holding on that candle. But man, we would need a bullish closure to take advantage of that drive up. Oh, oh. It held. Yeah, I'm still waiting here. There's some waiting involved. Probably waiting on a 10:30 close here. Yeah, there's nothing at the moment. Just waiting. If the 15 can close bullish here, might look for buys on the next 15, but it's can't start pushing up here. It's got to close. Okay, bullish, not heavy. Might see this push. 5 held again. Break of that 5, right? 15 re-breaking its own high. Come on, close for me. 8 minutes. This is gonna pop. Did it? Rebroke the high here. Yeah, there it goes. It's only a 5 minute. Everything else so bearish. No closure. Ow, ow. Yes, no, stream shouldn't be buffering. It's I updated the bit rate. It looks really good on my end. It says excellent on the YouTube side. Got 30 seconds here for the 30 to close. Just a bit skeptical. I think we can have the next candle. It's possible to come down. So maybe some bottom wicks. This is a tough area to close at also. Let's see how we open. Maybe we get a top wick, bottom wick. Rebreak of the high. But the thing is, I'm looking at the higher time frame here and look at the 4 hour. Like, yeah, the 4 hour can definitely come up. There's a lot of room to correct that candle. But if it flips, 4 hour range is down there. Down here, 32.87. Why is it buffering for everybody? The connection looks good on my end. I don't even know what to say. I'm like looking through YouTube. Looking good. I don't know. I don't know why it's buffering for everybody. You know it's actually doing that for me right now too, but it says excellent connection. Bring this down. Wouldn't that be lovely for the hourly closure, right? To close bearish below the range. That'll be our gladiator candle to bring us down. Oh. Can't look for it here. Gotta be the break of the previous. How much is the stop? 36. It's gotta be 46. It's gotta be previous candle. Yeah, this makes it really tough. It can break the high here and come right back down. Levels here. A little tough because the 4 hours got the top wick already. And this push. What's this? Bougie got a buy stop right here on the flip. Break of the highs. I know you. That 5 closed bearish. Respecting the 5 level. This 5 is making a top wick. Will it flip bearish? Close below the range too. Yes, it will. Oh shit, there it goes. You sure, Bougie? No buy stops here? Are you sure? I think it's gonna pump up here. You don't trust gold buy? Yeah, the only way it'd be above here and above there is to stop. It's pretty messy. Yeah, it's not a Ronaldo stop. It's definitely a messy stop. Call it soon, probably like at 11, like we usually do, around 11. Beautiful. Can we now get a closure? Am I taking a late trade? No, I'm gonna be here till like 11, 11:30, and then I gotta leave. No top look on this 15, huh? That's the 4-hour rebreak at a low. I need a closure. 4-hour re-break at a low. Your stop is 93 pips. Four minutes here. It's a lot of time. I was thinking of having a position on the rebreak at a 4, but waiting on a closure to see if we're gonna need stops. But it's 4 minutes here. Yeah, 15 looks really tough here. Just because we haven't had a closure here. All these wicks into here are annoying too. Two minutes. Yeah, this is gonna close bearish. Put a sell stop on the break of the 4-hour low. Looking for a 4-hour rebreak at a low here. We'll sell stop right here. See if we're able to smash through it. And we pull all the way back up. I don't have anything here. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a position here at 2,000 in profit, but I'll let you guys know. Might have a small one. Minute and a half left on this 15. Yeah, 1 minute here. Delete the sell stop and wait 1 minute. I put a sell stop on the break of the 4-hour low right here. If it flips, to expect it to finish out the range. But it pulled right back up. We have 40 seconds to go, so I deleted it. And I'm going to wait for this to close. I think if we broke that low, we would have just filled the wick. Later, DK. 3, 2, 1. What's that? That is a bit ugly. But it closed below here. Makes so much sense. There's no top wick on this candle. Be amazing if this can flip bullish. The thing is, it closed right at resistance, so it can just be coming down off this resistance. If we can flip bullish, then we start re-breaking lows. Higher time frame should take us down. I want a top wick though. If this just continues down, then so be it. $30 hasn't closed. We don't have a top wick. The hourly's got a top wick. This room here, man. Maybe this can leave a bottom wick, top wick off the next 5. Nope, there it goes. Let's see. So it's got a bottom wick here. If this can pull back, next 5 can give us a top wick here in 90 seconds. Problem is this might just break down heavy in the next 90 seconds. Rebreak at the lows. Then what's the stop? There's no stop here. Yeah, 4 hour rebroke the low. See this 5 close? I mean, this 5 closes. We're most likely waiting on this 30 and 15. Because the way it's closing right now is it's pulling back. Maybe it's lower closure. Just respected that though. I've played these games before. Word. Listen up. I played this game before. I think it just rebroke again. No, almost. Yeah. Price action has not been the greatest on gold this morning. Fuck. Sorry. I was saying we got 3 minutes for the candle to close, so even if it breaks the lows here, I mean, you only have 3 minutes, right? So let's wait for this to close. But it's not pretty. This isn't what you want to see. You don't want to see closures into all these wicks. Like, it's not the prettiest of price action. There's cleaner ranges down and up. It's just got to form. Right, so it could definitely come down here for another 30, 40, 50 pips, but it would not be the cleanest of our trades. This isn't an A++. It's all chop. Yeah, so while we're yapping here, go get yourself a top 1 futures account, gang. Go get an instant funded top 1 futures account at 55% off. Nightbot don't know what he's talking about. It's not 50, it's 55% off. So go get your accounts, get instantly funded, get 3 of them so you could copy trade all 3 accounts, right? So 1 payout could actually change your year, maybe your life. Code Wix, yes, code Wix, 55% off. Shit, you get 3 accounts at 150K. You need 1 payout to change your life. You realistically need 1 payout to change your life, because any payout at that amount and 3 accounts will be like 20 grand. Tried it, it said I can't combine the 2 codes. Yours and theirs. No, use mine, it should be 55 total. If it's giving you an error message, take a screenshot, print screen, take a screenshot, send it to me, and I'll get it fixed. Do not settle for less than 55. Reach out to me, I'll make sure they fix it. But everyone else I know that's tried it, it's worked. Alright, so go get your instant funded, get 3 of them, that's 450K in instant funding. 1 payout will be like 20 grand. But you gotta get to a payout. Don't combine codes, just use mine. Forget theirs, don't use their code. They're already giving you a discount site-wide. Just use Wix. So overall, a big W today, right? Made 4 grand on the funded, and I lost 700 on the live, so $3,300 day here. Yeah, they're using code Memorial instead of Memorial. Just use code Wix. That's their site-wide. Make sure you're profitable, otherwise blowing it is a waste. Yeah, and not just profitable. Make sure that your funded account profitable, like funded account rules profitable. I would not be able to trade strictly off wick entries on this funded. I just wouldn't. Like, that was a 5 lot. I would not have been able to sit here with a 10 lot or like 10 positions in that trade. It's 11 o'clock here, so we just closed. The hourly's closed. We closed bearish. Yes, we did. The problem is we're bearish. We closed bearish within this chop, and these are areas where the market has driven up heavy from before. Right, all across here. So while you are likely to come down bearish based on the candles, you're likely to bounce back up based on the levels. And you're really not likely to do it fast based on timing. It's likely to just trickle up or trickle down instead of a heavy drive. Now, I understand the 4-hour might be re-breaking the low again, but the smaller time frames need closure. How many times the 4-hour rejected and pulled back up after re-breaking the low? Quite a few here. 1, 2, 3. Try it to come down. Maybe it'll finally do it here. But that closure was bullish above the range. This candle has no top wick, so if it flips, it's flying up. Yeah, 4-hour within stupid consolidation. I mean, there's advantages here, but once again, you need closures. I'm gonna call it a session here. I was hoping we get this freaking closure, but look out. If in the next 20 to 30 minutes we're able to push down here and get those closures down there, I'll look for positions. Right, so dabs, domain. What? Call it a day. We had RW. Oh, didn't on the live account. On the live account, I had one yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, live account, we had a W yesterday. This was today. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I guess you guys could see this, right? This is the live account. So my loss was $770. Synchronization, I don't know what the fuck that is, 163. But that's it. Yeah, live account's doing fine. Am I in? No. I'm going to call it a session. I'm going to wait for shit to really break down. But it did. Look at that. The 4-hour rebroke the low, really came down heavy here. Yeah, that's what I kept paying attention to the whole time here. The break of the 4-hour low to fill this wick. But the way it just keeps opening. No pullbacks. No top wick here. Maybe if we came up, made a top wick for this candle, and then started coming down, I'd say, all right, we grabbed the top wick. But this closed respecting this, and then straight down, so there's no impulse sells there. Interesting. All right, what I will look for here, now that it's come down here and it's pushed, if I can get a resistance formed, I'll look to retest the lows here. But I'm gonna that's gonna be in the signal channel if we get that. All right, I'm gonna call it a session here. Zoom gang, appreciate you spending the day with me. I'll see you guys in the clubhouse side. Mods, thank you for helping me run the stream as always. Signal channel, probably next half hour or so, and then I gotta dip. I gotta go do something. I gotta be somewhere at 12. So yeah. For the next half hour, if we're able to pull back, form some kind of resistance to start retesting the lows, I will look for that. If not, I will see you guys in the Signal channel tonight for Asian session, and we'll call a stream. We'll call it a stream here. All right, chat. Love and wisdom to you all. Thank you for spending another profitable morning with me. Appreciate all of yous. As for me, my time here is up, and just like that, another New York session is in the books.
Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.